Hi, welcome to Healing Humanity. My name is Dina, and I want to talk to you today about some things that have been really weighing on me. So I was thinking, I think last weekend, like, what would I want to say to you if I was like on my last days? Because there's a lot that I could say. And I've been through what feels like a tornado in the last decade. And what's amazing about that is some of it was necessary for me to learn lessons, to understand the teachings that people were trying to teach me. um, so please don't misunderstand. I appreciate some of the things that have been taught to me, that have been shown, that things that I realize and had to change within myself because of what I realized or because of what I saw within myself. You know, these are all things that God guides you through. And sometimes it's through man, right? Men and women. Sometimes it's through man that um, these messages come, and they're hard to process sometimes. But I think about it and what I've endured, quite honestly. And I thought, well, what do people really need to know? And I think the most important thing is that what I want you to understand is that no matter what happens, no matter whether you're being spiritually awakened or whether you're in a job where you're being, say your buttons are being pushed or things are happening that you don't understand or you don't like, I cannot stress enough the fact that your confidence, it just isn't or shouldn't be threatened by the insecurities of others. If somebody's coming at you, there's some form of insecurity within them that is making them attack you. And, people call it mirroring or, whatever you want to label it. You have to hold fast to your own confidence. You have to know within yourself who you are as a person. And if you don't know and you haven't taken time to figure that out, I highly suggest that that be your first move. Um, and your voice should never be silenced by somebody else's fear, right? That's something that I think I learned very, very early on in my career because when I was managing homeowners associations, it was always the loudest person in the room that seemed to get the number one, the most attention, and number two, the most action. Whether they were right or wrong, it didn't seem to matter. What mattered is they either bullied people enough that caused them to be fearful or caused them to not want to be in a confrontation, which what I learned in the 30 years that I was, managing these associations. I dealt with a lot of people, thousands of people, um, that came through my door, and I had to communicate with and learn to communicate with various different types of people. Um, and what I learned about the loudest one is that they're either doing it because they enjoy it or they're doing it because they have an ulterior motive, usually not a beneficial one for all, or they are fearful of something, right? They're afraid that something might happen or something might not happen. So they will have it come across as a bully, right? You cannot let somebody else's fear or somebody else's ideologies make you silence your own voice. I've seen that so many times, especially with women. Um, it happens with men too, but it does happen more with women. They become intimidated and they will silence themselves. Rather than being silenced, they will silence themselves so they don't have to deal with the confrontation. Don't ever be afraid to deal with the confrontation. Don't ever be afraid to be that rebel that stands up for what you believe in. I think that's probably another one of the most important things that I want to share with you. And one of the things that I think probably helped me get through a lot of the things. I may not have opened my mouth to fight back. There was many times that I didn't because there was no there was no one person, no one group that I could address my comments to. You see, there were a lot of voices in my life at that time, and many were very hateful, many were very controlling, many were manipulative and hateful, very hateful, for no reason. Honestly, no reason. And so I stayed silent until I could actually determine where this all was coming from, why it was happening, what are the patterns, and who do I need to address my my frustrations and comments to? Who do I address my truth to? There was just too many people involved. And that happens. It happens a lot. And it may happen to you. I hope not. I hope that my path has ended this nightmarish behavior that has gone on in this world. And it is not just this country. It is not just one state. It is state to state, and it is various different countries. So don't ever back down. Don't ever feel like you need to make yourself smaller in any given situation, because you need to be heard. You need to keep your words flowing, so that bully or that person with the ulterior motives, or the person that's acting out of fear, doesn't guide you into the same fears that you at that point really don't know anything about, right? You're just going along, go with the flow. Don't go with the flow. I'd also say that, the attempts that people make at control, controlling others, goes along with, their fears. Pardon me. This cold, it just won't go away. Anyway, so other people's attempts at control in your life, for you particularly, that cannot determine how you feel about yourself. Okay, well, I say can't, and I'm wrong about that. It can very much determine how you feel about yourself if you let it. I think what I went through as a child, I believe that had a lot to do with my determination to stay honest to myself. I think that no one's control should determine how you feel about yourself. No one's attempt at control should do that. You need to control yourself. You need to control your own emotions. You need to not stay silent in the face of somebody else's fears. Don't own them as yours. And then I think lastly, somebody else's judgment of you does not determine your value. What does determine your value is what you believe of yourself. Could you be mistaken about some things? Maybe. Could I have been mistaken about some things? Maybe. But if you're open to listening to others, and I've mentioned this several times, listen to what people say to you. Even if it's hateful or it's a strong judgment, listen to the words and then take it and really sort of meditate on it. Is it true for you? If it is true and it's something that needs to be changed, by all means change it. If it's something that you own and you go, okay, yeah, they have a point, I do that sometimes, then it's time to own it. It's time to own it and change it. But if they're hateful and they're judgmental towards you, that's their problem. That has nothing to do with you. That's them projecting their emotions, their feelings, their past on you. You do not have to accept that as normal. You do not have to own it if it's not true. So that's where your ability to discern comes in extremely handy. You cannot And I'm not saying that it's not painful. It is. It's very painful to receive hate on a consistent basis or judgment on a regular basis. That's hard. It's also hard when you realize people you cared about might not have your back. That's hard too. But it's okay. All of it is necessary for you to be able to grow, for you to be able to build your discernment and to move on and understand that your value has absolutely nothing to do with the outside world. It has everything to do with how you think and how you feel about yourself. Because when you use your mind and your heart, you can't go wrong. You cannot lose. That's the power of the strength that you have within you. As long as you don't give it away. Don't give your power away to other people. You hold strong to it. You be that rebel as long as it's beneficial, for you and for your immediate surroundings. Don't let the hate and the judgment and the control, the fears of others determine how you feel about yourself, how you act, or what you say. Discern everything and everyone. And I think that's going to be, I think that's the key message for everybody from me right now, is that there's so much out here that tries to come against people that are trying to do something either bigger, better, for themselves, for their family, for others. And it's not always well received. You would think that it would be, but it's not. And so I would just say that, the things that have been most important to me and that have helped me to emotionally get through everything that I've been through is these things, is to have a strong mind and a strong heart, and to know that my value does not come from outside of me. It comes from within. And I don't have to, if I choose not to, I don't have to own what people say. It doesn't have to become my truth. And like I said, we have to discern that. We have to take what people say to us, kind of absorb it and understand what they're trying to say, understand them clearly, and then determine whether or not it is something within you that needs to change. If it is, by all means, change it. If it isn't, don't even give it another thought. After you determine whether or not what somebody's saying to you is based out of their fear, their past, their emotions, their desire to control, or desire to be living in their fears, that doesn't need to be your truth. So anyway, I'll leave that with you. Hopefully, you will take what I say tonight seriously, because I truly believe these are the things that help me get through and helped me to be able to make, in my mind, the right choices for the last decade. So if you have any questions, certainly email me or, get a hold of me through my website. I'm always available, to talk with you. Until next time, keep on healing.